Syria, Palestine, Bosnia, Myanmar, Iraq and East Turkistan. In these countries, our Muslim brothers and sisters are oppressed. Muslim population still hasn't reached 1.8 billion because of egoistic, selfish people who only care about the world, about the dunya and forgot the afterlife, the akhirah. So there is no cohesion between Muslims. So listen carefully to what I am going to tell you in this video. You will not believe what our Muslim brothers and sisters in East Turkistan going through. The oppression in this country is unbelievable and unbearable. We do not pay enough attention to this horrible oppression in East Turkistan. Therefore, many people do not know what is happening there. We have spoken with refugees from East Turkistan and couldn't believe what they have experienced. East Turkistan has contributed a great deal to the spread of Islam through Muslim leaders and scholars. In 1870, despite pressure from China, England and Russia, East Turkistan showed its loyalty to the Ottoman Empire. China planned in 2050 to defeat all Uyghur Muslim people. In East Turkestan, 25 million people live like in prison. There are police officers, surveillance cameras, armored vehicles everywhere. Soldiers are constantly walking on the streets, arresting our Muslim brothers and sisters for no reason. The Uyghur people abscond because of the unbearable oppression, and when they come back to their country, they will be killed. Can you believe that Uyghur people were not allowed to fast in Ramadan? Even alcohol events were organized and the participation was obligatory. Also, our Muslim brothers and sisters were not allowed to enter the mosque without showing their ID, and not everyone owned an ID in East Turkestan. Even the possession of religious books is forbidden. Men are not allowed to grow beards, and women are not allowed to wear hijab. 1 million people are captured in compounds, and no one cares about these people. No one pays attention to this torment. Because of that, this prison compounds is getting bigger and bigger. It became 3 times bigger. Our Muslim sisters are forced to be sent to China to work as prostitutes. It's stated that over 1 million women are already employed as prostitutes. There are still many cruel things that are done to our brothers and sisters. You won't believe it. I couldn't believe either when I heard it. The men in East Turkestan are held captive on compounds, and the women have to stay at home with a Chinese foreign man. Can you imagine your sister, your mother, your daughter with a Chinese foreign man in your house? And you are in jail. There is nothing you can do about it. And the woman can't refuse these things. Our sisters are forced to marry Chinese men. They cannot refuse. There is nothing they can do. The only way getting out there is the death. They commit suicide. Therefore is the suicide rate in this country very high. In Eastern Turkestan, 35 million Uyghur Muslims have already been murdered. In the Second World War, 60 million people lost their lives. Do you now understand how terrible torture and oppression is? 1.8 billion people don't see this torture or don't care about it. Before we did this video, we talked to 2 brothers who told us about this oppression in their country. We couldn't believe what they experienced. The first one we talked to said these things to us. All started with that. Men are not being allowed to grow beards. Women were not allowed to wear headscarves, hijab. Reading the Quran and praying were forbidden. They captured men, our brothers, in compounds, and the women have to marry Chinese men, and China is calling this fraternity project. Whoever does not obey these commandments will be captured. The Chinese want to marry women when they see them on the street. If the woman doesn't want to, they get to jail too. So, women get forced to marry the Chinese man. They have no other choice. The Uyghur people who aren't in prison are forced to eat pork and drink alcohol. If they don't follow them, they also get arrested. When I tell you this, it's hard for you to believe all this torment, but it's all true, unfortunately. The second person we spoke to told us that he has been seeing this oppression in this country for about 35 years. He says that he hasn't heard from his family for 4 years. He can't go back to his country because otherwise he will be killed. He has a daughter. If she is alive, she should be 17 years old now. His father and his 2 brothers are held captive in compound. His wife lives alone with their children. He hasn't dared to ask his wife if she has been forced to live with a Chinese man. He says that he has asked his wife if there are still rapes, and his wife said angrily that she couldn't answer the question with a good conscience. He also told about a weaker sister who recently fled. He asked her if she was raped, and she started crying and scolded him that he asked such a question. All over the world, Muslims become suppressors. Don't say you can't prevent it. Don't say that. You have many worries to care about. Don't think that there is nothing you can do for your suffering brothers and sisters. Never lose hope. One of the biggest reasons why Islam is treated badly is hopelessness. Hopelessness is a violent illness that can even destroy you. Islam has been destroyed, there is no cohesion. Muslims are oppressed by people we have defeated once. Hopelessness makes you and all Muslims weak. Because of hopelessness, lazy Muslims look at each other and always complain about the other that this person also does not do anything against this terrible thing, and therefore thinks that he also cannot do anything against it. The bravery of our religion are not used against the oppression and the opponent. In order to find out the reason for this oppression against our religion, you do not have to accuse others. Maybe you are thinking, what can I do against it? And that's a sign of hopelessness. Never lose hope in Allah. Desperation is for cowards and not for religious Muslims. Yes, I agree with you. It's not something easy. But how we can step aside and cry in a corner while enemies make plans for years to destroy us? How can we just be hopeless and give up? I am asking you, how we can say that nothing will change even if we try to prevent all these bad things which are happening while our enemies work nights and day to reach their goal? I mean, we can't stop trying to repair things while they have worked for years to distract them. We are the ancestors of stout people who fought against the weapons with shovels. We are the ancestors of brave fighters who fought for their lives only for the peace of Islam. We are Muslims. We do not give up. We do not despair. Faithful Muslims fight for the love of Allah. And as long as we have a strong army and we strengthen our economics, nobody will be able to hurt to oppress our Muslim brothers and sisters. We must be as strong as the Ottoman Empire was at one time. Do not forget how patiently the Ottoman Empire fought through the difficult situations to become the Ottoman. They worked hard step by step for years. And we have also to work hard day and night, like our ancestors, without despair, without giving up. I have already mentioned this several times in this video, but I want to stress it again. Never say, what can I do about it? Never give up. Never think negative. You can start by learning your religion and spreading it, inviting other people to Islam. You can also start by explaining Islam to your children and practicing it with them. You can get good education to make a good contribution to your country. For example, by becoming a good economist and supporting your country with great projects. Or you can become a soldier and protect and defend your country. I will tell you a story that you should never forget and learn from it. Once upon a time, there was a carpenter who built the best and most beautiful minbar. Everyone was fascinated about this great masterpiece. This minbar was so beautiful that people came from abroad and wanted to buy it. But the Muslim carpenter rejects the offers and says that he will not sell this minbar. The reason for this is that he made this masterpiece for Al-Aqsa Mosque, even though at that time was Jerusalem occupied by Christians. But in response to his answer, everyone laughs at him that his dreams will never come true. Because Jerusalem was conquered by Christians and this army is very strong. So he says this, I am only a carpenter. I can only build a minbar. One of you has the task to conquer Jerusalem back again. Everyone has to do what he can do best. Selahaddin Ayyubi was 7 years old when he heard what the carpenter said. He remembers these words and sets himself a great goal. Years go by and Selahaddin Ayyubi grows up. He gathers his army and conquers Jerusalem back again. Afterwards, this beautiful minbar is brought to Al-Aqsa Mosque. So, he makes a big step in the history of the Muslims. Did you understand what I was trying to tell you with this story? You do your job. Do what you can best to stop these oppressions. It could be that these terrible proceedings are forgotten, but Allah doesn't forget it. It could be that a lot of people don't see these agonizing sufferings of our Muslim brothers and sisters, but Allah sees it. The tyrant dies with his dignity and the oppressed with his humiliation. There will be an afterlife where the tyrant will to give an account for the cruel things he done to the Muslims, and his punishment will be eternal hell. And our oppressed brothers and sisters are then rewarded with eternal paradise for the agonizing suffering at the dunya. At the moment, our brothers and sisters are in pain. There is no justice in this world. We will get justice in afterlife, inshallah. At the end, Muslims will be happy and the evil oppressors will suffer this time. Allah is the best of those who take the best revenge. Do not forget to share this video with your friends so that everyone may know about the injustice which is done to our brothers and sisters. And with only sharing this video, you have already taken a step to bring an end to these oppressions. See you until the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ولا تحسبن الله غافلا عما